Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for iPad today is provided by CacheFly at CacheFly.com.
Coming up on iPad today, are you getting hitched? Oh, there are apps for that, and my guest host, Shannon Morse, just happens to be a wedding expert, so she's going to tell you what you need to download. Plus, the LTE iPads are finally shipping. Hooray! An Office for iPad is possibly, maybe right around the corner. All that and some very drool-worthy HD video recipes up next. This episode of iPad Today is brought to you by GoToMyPC by Citrix, connecting you directly to your Office Mac or PC from any other computer and from your iPad and iPhone too. Sign up for a 30-day free trial at GoToMyPC.com and use the promo code iPad. And by Lantronix, maker of the XPrint server. Print from your iPad, iPhone, or any iOS device to virtually any printer. For more information, visit xprintserver.com/twit and enter the coupon code TWIT to receive free shipping on your order. And by the all-new Slingbox, which can turn your mobile device into a television. With the new Slingbox, you can watch high-def TV on your smartphone, laptop, or tablet anywhere there's an internet connection. Check it out at slingbox.com/twit. I always try to do it, and I never get it right. Shannon Morse, hello.
Hi, Sarah Lane.
How are you?
I'm awesome. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
It's so good to be here.
It's so great to have you.
I've never been on iPad Today. This is a first for me.
And you know, I would have asked you a long time ago, because Leo does go out of town. He's out of town on vacation the first of 3 weeks in a row this week. But for some reason, and I don't know what my problem is, I was under the impression that you weren't an iOS person.
Oh, I am totally iOS. Well, I'm kind of like all three, Linux, Mac, and Windows all at once.
Yeah.
So I'm just everywhere at once.
But
it's crazy.
That's great. And you know, I think you're actually a perfect person to be on the show, because we have a lot of folks who will sometimes say, you know, Leo and Sarah, you talk about iPhone stuff, and not everybody who has an iPad even has a Mac or an iPhone. It's not this whole ecosystem that you have to stay within. There are a lot of people who enjoy many different operating systems and like to tinker around with all of their choices. They just happen to love their iPads as well. So it sounds like you.
I'm totally the same way.
And we should also, for anybody who's like, well, Shannon Morse, she's lovely, what's her story? Not only are you a host of Hack 5, but you're also an employee of Twit now.
Yeah, I'm the producer of Before You Buy, so definitely check that one out.
Which is great, and you and I co-hosted this week.
Yes, that was so much fun. I was so happy to have you on.
Well, I was happy that you asked me, so thank you very much. All right, so this theme today is great because it's very near and dear to Shannon's heart. Not so much to mine, but it is wedding apps.
Yay!
Now, before you all go, oh no, it's going to be girly stuff and doilies and napkins and everything. Now, think for a second how much of a hero you would be, man or woman, if someone that you know is getting married in the next couple of years and everybody knows somebody, if not 5 people, where you can say, you know what, there's an amazing app that's going to cut down on your stress level.
Oh, that is so true. If my fiance came to me and said, look at these apps I downloaded, I would just make dinner for him for the rest of the month, which is pretty good because I don't cook.
Exactly. That's how thankful you would be.
Yes.
So, and the reason that this is actually a really good topic is because you're actually planning a wedding right now.
I am.
This is not some hypothetical, hey, I did some research, maybe it'd be good for you. You know this stuff.
Yeah, I just got engaged in May, so I'm just gung-ho with all the, like, finding all the free apps and getting everything organized and making sure everything goes perfect on my wedding day.
Well, that's, you know, that's very bright of you.
Yay.
What's funny, okay, so full disclosure, I was once planning a wedding as well. This was many years ago, but there certainly weren't smartphones, there wasn't any apps, that sort of thing. I was familiar with the company that makes the first app that you're going to to highlight the knot.
Yes.
It was a website. You could put together a little landing page to let people know, you know, where you met.
You can still do that on their website.
And that sort of thing. But they've definitely got into some more stuff that is good on the go. First one is the Knot, the wedding planning app.
Yes, the wedding planner by the Knot. So this one is really great. I had originally just downloaded the regular iPhone app, but I found they had an iPad wedding planner HD version, which is beautiful. You can use it either vertical or horizontal, which is nice. I'll start with down here. You see all these little pictures that you can go through, and I have most of them are gray because I haven't gone into their gallery and chose something that I like. But if you click on one and you choose, say, I'm going to choose a different neckline up here.
Oh, wow.
If I can. There we go. Okay, so I can click on a picture of some kind of bridal wedding dress that I really like, and if I love it, I can save it to my favorites.
Oh, that's cool. You know, she's actually doing she's recreating a picture that I actually have on my wall. That's kind of crazy.
Oh,
anyway,
weird.
Yeah, it's like a famous picture.
Yeah, so after a few minutes, it'll come up right here, and I'll be able to see that image show up, and I could show that to a vendor, for example, and say, hey, I want something along this line. If you don't have this specific dress, can you find something like it? They also have up here this planning tool. So this is it's kind of cool because it looks like a binder and it goes over to the side whenever you click on something. So I'll click on my checklist over here, and I can still get to my planning tools by clicking on this, and it shows up. And when I go back, I clicked on my task list. So this is my checklist of things that I have to do to get ready for my wedding day.
Right.
Now, the only drawback about this is when you click on something, it disappears and you can't get it back unless you go on the website, which is kind of a pain in the butt.
So it's not really gone, but
it's not really gone. It's just, it's put into your finished checklist on the Knot website.
But there just isn't access to the finished checklist from the iPad app.
Yeah, exactly. So I can continue down. They have everything you ever need to do for your wedding day.
Oh, so this isn't a bunch of stuff that you wrote up.
No, this
is the Knot saying you're going to want
to
to remember the flowers.
Yeah, so for example, if I go to, let's see, here's 1 to 2 weeks. It says call guests who haven't RSVP'd. That's a really important reminder. I want to make sure that I do that, so I'll keep track of it in my checklist, and when I've finally gotten to all my RSVPs, I can just click it off and it'll disappear. Another one I really like about this is my budgeter. So an average wedding fiance or bride and groom, they spend a good 30 grand on a wedding these days.
Which is what I read. Sounds crazy.
It sounds absolutely insane.
Yeah.
But when you start calling venues, you find out it's 10 grand to rent a place and for the food and the beer and wine and all that stuff.
Really adds up.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So my budgeter over here, I can put in up at the top what my budget is. So I set it at 30 grand, which is the average. And down here, I have everything divided into different areas. So I have, for example, the ceremony. I have the ceremony location fee that I can click on, and it'll show me the ceremony location fee, payment due date, if I want to turn on a notification for that, and the actual amount that I really spent, in case it didn't actually come up to the average $300 price that you usually pay. Very useful.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, this really keeps you organized. I mean, if you use the tools that are offered the way that they're supposed to be used, because otherwise you end up with this crazy inbox and you're trying to, like, I don't know, I mean, if you're using Gmail, you just start trying to sort them to, you know, give them labels.
Yeah, I have one of those too. Like, I have labels in my Gmail inbox and I can archive things into my wedding binder, but it is so confusing. And just having this app and knowing that my budget is right there, like I can go into it and check the checklist and check my vendors, everything. It's so nice and organized, and this is by far my favorite wedding app that I've downloaded so far.
Well, now the Knot has another wedding app. This one sounds a little scary. It's called Weddings 911. That's also in your list here. So what does this app do that's different?
So this one is called Wedding 911, and this is made preferably just so if you ever have a question about anything, you can go into the Wedding 911 app and have it answer it for you.
Now it looks like, since you're holding it in portrait, is this an iPhone app that you just blow up?
Okay. Yeah, so it just blows up, and it works just fine on either, you know.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of visuals here, so it doesn't matter too much.
You have this nice little ad at the bottom. It's kind of annoying, but it's a free app, so I can't complain.
If you're in an emergency, you can probably look past it.
Yeah, so you can click on any kind of question that you have, like who should host my bridal shower, and it'll give you the most convenient answer, the most popular one. You can also go to Wedding 911s, which is kind of funny because there's very personal questions in here that women will ask about their wedding, about honeymoons, and like the wedding night and stuff like that.
Are they anonymous questions?
Yeah, they're anonymous,
Okay.
but you do have to have an account to ask a question.
Okay.
So you have to have some kind of username.
So you're like, okay, well, maybe if I ask a question, you don't realize it's me, but somewhere, somehow, someone could put the two together.
Yes, exactly. So I haven't signed up for an account because I don't want to ask any kind of questions myself, but it's kind of funny to go through here and read what people have asked and what people have answered to people. Like, need help trying to figure out a gift to get the FH before the wedding.
What's an FH?
I don't know what that is. Full House? What is a FH? Yeah, isn't that weird?
Made of, I don't know.
So for this app, I definitely use it for the 911 questions. I don't actually go into the one that you have to log into. So
I see.
I just stick around in this area.
But this is kind of good because there are a lot of, obviously, weddings can be as traditional as non-traditional as you make it, but there are certain traditions that people want to uphold. But it's not like we go to school for a lot of this stuff. It's like, what do you do? I don't know.
When
so
I
it's nice
first
to
got
kind of have
engaged,
this.
I bought like 15 magazines, and they all basically gave me the same information, the same questions that I have to ask vendors whenever I go to them. For example, like, is there an additional cost to pop a cork? Which apparently there is at a lot of places. And I wouldn't have known that if I didn't read the Wedding 911 app.
Wow.
Isn't that weird?
So you pay for the champagne, but then that's one fee to look at it. And then there's another if you want to drink it.
You can pay for the champagne. If you bring in your own alcohol, it's like $15 to pop the cork.
Oh,
isn't that crazy?
Corkage fees.
Yeah.
That, I see. Yes. Oh, the corkage fees, aren't they fun? Well, that's great. That's Wedding 911, Weddings 911. Both of those are free, by the way. So the Knot is obviously giving out a lot of resources for free. And then, you know, they're hoping that people sign up for accounts and buy some extra stuff.
And I totally did,
And you totally did, so there you go. The next app you have, I love the name of this, Appy Couple.
Appy Couple. So I actually saw a little message about this in one of the magazines that I had bought. And I was like, Appy Couple, that's so cute. It's like happy for Appy Couples.
Yeah.
Aww. So I thought it was adorable, and I decided to download it. So it's still in beta. And I have noticed that sometimes it crashes.
Okay.
But it's free, and you sign up for an invite on the website. It's very easy to get an invite. It takes like 24 hours for them to email you with a code. So, you know, it's nice to actually start off with it. So this is another one that is just up and down. You can't change it to, what is that, horizontal?
Landscape mode, yes.
Yes, landscape
mode.
mode.
You know, it never ceases to amaze me why some are the way that they are. But anyway. But it certainly looks pretty. There you guys are at the top.
Yeah, I actually designed this layout myself. Isn't it cute?
It's very cute.
So on their website, you sign up for your account, and you design the layout, you choose your colors and all that jazz, and then you can start out and start customizing it. So for example, I can go into my story, and I can write in a story about how Keith and I met, and I can post a picture. It's adorable. And then I could go back and I could add gallery pictures if I wanted to. I only put one of my ring in here. I was like, oh, okay, that works.
So is this something that you create in the app, but then it's a place that other people kind of access online?
So, yeah, it's actually backwards.
Oh.
So you create it on the website and customize everything on the website. And then you can share your special wedding code with all of your guests.
Okay.
So I'm thinking,
perfect.
When I give out my invites or my RSVP cards or whatever, I'll put the code for Appy Couple on the invites so people can log in on their iPads or iPhones, and they'll be able to check out all my information.
I love it.
Yeah, it's
now,
so
is there a web landing page? If let's say somebody doesn't have an iPad or something.
Yeah, it's like appycouple.com/ Shannon and Keith.
Okay.
Something.
So
like
it's just you're just giving them sort of like, we're modern. You've got options.
It's really nice, and I also like this because back in the day, we used to do things on invites and leave bags in the hotels that would give information about where they're traveling to if it's a destination wedding. So, for example, on mine, I made this nice little travel kit that says you're flying into San Francisco, things to do, Fisherman's Wharf, and if you click on the website, it takes you to the Fisherman's Wharf website.
That's great. Yeah.
And
because, you know, anytime that people are coming in from far away, they're probably going to stay for a few days, and you can't be babysitting them the whole time, and you want everybody to have a good time. So that's all stuff that you've got to think about anyway.
Yeah.
And then you can cut down on people individually asking you, hey, what should we do when we're there? You know, I've made an app for you.
Yep, exactly. I can just be like, oh, just download this app. Leave me alone. It's my wedding day. And I can show people who the bridesmaids are if they're curious beforehand. I can give some information about each person. Like for Brittany, I could put, this is my little sister, and I could post a picture of her if I want to.
Yeah.
So it's extremely customizable. Of course, it is still in beta, so it does crash now and then. But it's still a really nice app to have, and I think it'll be really useful for all the people that are coming to mine actually on the wedding day.
It really seems like the theme here is keep organized.
Yes.
Make sure your budget isn't out of control.
Yeah.
And make sure the people who are coming to your wedding have all the information they need so that they don't have to bug you.
So true, because I'm going to be busy as all get out on that day.
You know, it's in theory, we all sort of go, well, weddings just shouldn't be that stressful. Just don't make it so stressful. But it gets crazy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Everybody.
I was just a bridesmaid at my friend's wedding, and oh my gosh, she was just like, she turned into a completely different monster on her wedding day. And I'm sorry, sweetie, I love you, but it's true.
Yeah,
you
it
completely
happens.
change and you get stressed out. So
I've seen it happen too. Yeah.
Anything that can make it better, I'm totally cool with.
Exactly, because all of this stuff it's very important, right? So this is not like, I planned a party, some things didn't go quite right, go with the flow.
Yeah,
That's
happens.
rarely what ends up happening on a wedding day.
But when you're spending
because
like
you've been
this
planning
much money.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
I planned this party for a year and I spent 50 grand.
Yeah.
One thing goes wrong, Bridezilla.
Why did I pay so much money for this?
Yeah. You ruined everything. Okay, so the last app that we're going to talk about in our wedding app roundup is an app that's familiar to everybody, but you might not think of it in terms of weddings, and that's Pinterest.
Pinterest. So I know you guys have talked about Pinterest a lot in the past.
Not lately. Leo and I both sort of feel like Pinterest is great, but we need a reason to use it.
I have a great reason to use it. So whenever you go to, say, go try on a wedding dress, and the lady says, well, what's your interest? What kind of dress do you want? And you say, I don't know, I'm just, whatever.
Something flattering.
Something that looks pretty on me. And I can never give them a really solid answer to go out and find me something in their like 400 bride dress closet.
Yeah.
You know, they have so many. I want to kind of dwindle it down a bit. So what I've done on Pinterest is I've made a different album for each thing that I'm interested in. So I have wedding flowers and bouquets. I have wedding bride dresses, wedding bridesmaids, which I actually shared my maid of honor on, so she can also post pictures of her favorite dresses.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, because she's the one who has to wear it.
Yeah. So I can go in here, and when I'm at my vendor, I can go, hey, I really, really like this dress. Keith, I hope you're not watching because you shouldn't see this. And I can say, I really want a dress that looks just like this. Please find me one that looks like this, and I'll be happy to buy it like right now.
Yeah.
So it's very useful. And I also noticed they just did a new update on Pinterest.
Yeah, they've got, what is it now? It's like, it's almost like they've got private pages.
They do. I love this. This was one thing that I had a problem with. You can now create a secret board.
So why would I want to do that, though? Because isn't the whole point of Pinterest is that you're sharing your collections?
Yeah, of course. You can share things like crazy. But for my problem is I want to share like my entire board with everybody, but I don't want my fiance to see those bride dresses that I'm interested in.
Right.
So I can make a secret board and just share it to people physically when I go to that vendor.
Love that. Or you could share it with a few people, like your mom and your sister and your bridesmaids, but it's like not really relevant for everybody else because you want it to be a surprise.
So I can only make 3 secret boards right now. I hope that they can include more because I think that would be really nice to have that customization feature. But so far it's just 3.
Do you think that okay, so let's think of like other reasons that people would want to make a secret board. Do you think that they're offering that because they figure...
Planning a surprise party.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Or surprise of anything, any kind.
Or if my fiance had Pinterest on his, which luckily he doesn't have a Pinterest account right now, so he can't see these.
Yeah.
He could have posted a bunch of engagement rings on there and like shared them with his family and said, which one do you like?
Which is helpful until you find that, until you find the board. And you're like, great. Or then you're like,
I know what you're doing.
Don't want that one. Upper left, out.
Yeah. Dislike.
Anonymous says, ew, ew.
Create a new Pinterest account.
I'm
just
quite sure
to say
Shannon
things.
would never like this. I love that. Yeah, so Pinterest this is a great use of Pinterest, I think, too, because so much of it is, when you talk to vendors, they're experts, right? So you've got a person that you're thinking of doing the flowers.
Right.
That's all they do for a living. So they know what they're talking about. But I always find that I'm not a flower arrangement expert. I don't even know all my types of flowers,
I don't either.
off the top of my head. So I go, I know what I don't like, but I don't necessarily know what to tell you that I like.
Yeah, I'm the
So you
same
could
way.
clip a bunch of stuff out of wedding magazines.
Or you could use Pinterest.
Or you could use Pinterest.
Yeah.
And then it's like you don't have to bring a bunch of stuff to meet this wonderful
it's so true.
flower vendor or cake. That's all. It all seems to play in there too. So Pinterest, if you're looking for a reason to use Pinterest and you're getting married, I don't know what you're waiting for. But obviously there are a bunch of other uses for
plenty.
Pinterest as well. And it's cool.
That's my favorite, though.
Yeah, well, you've got such a good excuse, and you've got your secret boards that play right into what you need.
Yeah, it's perfect. I love it.
So that's Pinterest, which of course is free as well. It's been an iPad app for quite a while. Did it start out as an iPhone app and then became an iPad app, or is that reversed? I don't remember.
I'm not sure.
It wasn't universal at first.
I think it turned into an iPad app, but don't quote me. I could be wrong.
I think you're right. But in any case, it is a nice, fully functioned iPad app now.
Yes.
It's a lot of fun to use. I'm still mostly browsing other people's boards.
Yeah.
Because I have nothing to share. I need to put an event on the books.
All I do
need to
is
plan a
search for
party
wedding
and then go
stuff.
nuts, or decide to paint my apartment or something.
It's a great excuse to plan a party.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, you know me, party planner. Well, thank you. These are great. These are absolutely great. And again, I think it's so great that you're planning a wedding so that you can say, listen, these apps are awesome, and here's why they're awesome, because this stuff matters to me.
Yeah, because if you're not planning a wedding and you look through all the wedding apps that are available, you don't know what to download because everything looks great. I mean, all the little icons are beautiful. Some of them are $5, but I found the best ones are the ones that were either based off of websites or are kind of new, and they're still free.
Yeah. Free is, especially when you're planning a wedding.
Yeah.
Another $5.
Saving that budget.
Kind of matters. Stick to budget. So if you're interested in the apps that Shannon mentioned, you didn't write anything down or you want to revisit them, don't worry. You can always visit us at our website. That's twit.tv/IPT. All of our episode pages are right there. You just click on the episode of your choice, and we've got all the links to everything that we talk about. So that's apps, that's news topics, that's, little tips and tricks, and sometimes you guys send us videos and we include links to those too. Everything is there, so don't worry about it. You can always catch up with past episodes, or this one as well. This is also where you can subscribe to the show. So if you kind of forget that we're live on Thursdays, or you can't always join us live, that's cool. We want to be on demand. We've got video and audio feeds for you. But if you can join us live, it's 1 p.m. Pacific and 4 p.m. Eastern on Thursdays. Thereabouts. Sometimes when Leo's here, we're more like 1:30, but that's okay. And if you've got apps or tips or tricks or questions or anything, you know what to do. iPad Today at twit.tv. We got quite a bit of viewer feedback this week, so we'll get to that a little bit later in the show. Before we get to some of our news stories, because we've got a lot of news too. I mean, the iPad news is really out of control. It's because the mini and all that good stuff. We'll get to that in a second. First, I want to take a moment to thank Go To My PC for sponsoring this episode of iPad Today. So this is very near and dear to me because I like to think of myself as a very mobile person. I've got my laptop here. It goes pretty much everywhere with me. But sometimes I just have my iPad, and often I just have my iPhone. And then, oh no, I've got a file that's on one of my computers, and I don't have it with me, and I'm on a train, and oh no, time is of the essence, and somebody needs this file, and what am I gonna do? That's where Go To My PC is amazing. I've got a Go To My PC app on my iPad. What does it do? Well, if I were to log in to my account on my iPad, I can access whatever computer I want remotely. I am going to my PC almost through my mind. It's great. This is Go To My PC by our friends at Citrix. We love Citrix because they make products that make sense. This is convenient. This is reliable. This is secure. I know you're wondering, oh gosh, accessing a PC remotely, is this safe? Yeah, it's absolutely secure. It's the #1 tool for remote access. You can access an entire PC or Mac. You can work on a program. So this is not just like, ooh, I'm looking at this file, but I can't actually do anything to it. You can work remotely. You can save, edit, send any file from anywhere on the go. The Go to My PC app is absolutely a lifesaver. I like to think, oh, I've got everything everywhere, you know, in this cloud world we live in. It doesn't really matter where you are. You can access everything at any time. That's not the reality, especially if you've got a computer at work, you've got something else at home, you've got your mobile devices. Inevitably, there's always something that, you don't have it with you, and you want to be able to access it because you're going to need that stuff. That's what Go to My PC is so good for. Never feel like you can't access one of your very important documents or anything on your computer if you're not actually sitting in front of it. You can. The Go to My PC app on the iPad is an absolute saver. Are you interested? If so, we have a special offer so you can try it out free for 30 days. Make your life better. It's our gift to you. Visit gotomypc.com. Once you're there, there's a big old try it free button. It's orange. You can't miss it. Click on that. Then enter the promo code iPad. IPAD. Then download the free app to your mobile device. I've got it here running on my iPad, but you can download it on a variety of devices. That's gotomypc.com to try it free for 30 days and enter that promo code iPad for your special gift. 'Tis the season. And thanks to Go to My PC for sponsoring this episode of iPad Today. I should mention, I said those other devices, but you know, that feels very exclusive. I mean, iPad, iPhone, Android, Kindle Fire. You can access a lot of files remotely on the go. All right, Shannon, I said we were going to talk about news, and that's exactly what we're going to do.
All right, Sarah.
So, first of all, we've established that you're an iPad fan and user. Have you ordered an iPad mini?
No. And
why is that?
It's too small and it doesn't have a Retina display.
Yeah.
And I already have this one, so why do I need another one?
See, that's the way that I feel. So I've got my 3rd gen. This is Retina. It's not the 4th gen. I know the 4th gen would be snappier and therefore cooler, but it's not like I'm ever thinking, gosh, this is so sluggish. Yeah. If only I had a faster iPad, and it looks just fine.
I can't imagine this getting any faster than it is. I have the 2nd gen one, and I love it. I think it's fine.
Yeah. Well, I did end up ordering an iPad mini for the purposes of our show.
Oh, okay. I was going to be like, what?
I know. After all of that,
Why?
Sarah, you just tricked me. No, it's Leo and I both, we both, as we were covering the live event when the mini was announced, you know, we're sort of looking at each other like, should we get one? You know, and I'm like, I think we have to, don't we? We can't.
Yeah, kind of. I don't know.
What about all the people?
It's for work. It's for work.
It's for work. But the way that we see it is okay. We've always gotten a new iPad every March since they've come out, with the exception of the 4th gen because that was a little bit of a surprise. But the iPad Mini, if we didn't ever have one on the set, all of a sudden we know with every new iPad that comes out, there are new people who might be tuning into the show and like, hey, I'm part of the team now.
Yeah.
And I've got this device and I want to hear about this device. And I know that that's going to be the case with minis. We heard over opening weekend, well, we don't know exactly how many minis were sold, but we know that 3 million Retina 4th gen iPads plus minis were sold.
Oh, wow.
So, I don't know, you'd split them in half-ish. I mean, quite a few, right? Yeah. So potentially a lot of people who are going to feel left out if we don't also have minis that we can talk about. And also, it's just kind of fun to have something new. But I, like many others, was not able to get a mini right away because I chose an LTE version.
Right.
Because the data is really important to me.
Yeah, me too.
So you have a data iPad as well?
Yeah, I couldn't imagine going back from not having this. And I use it for work as well, because I go to conventions and I use it to swipe credit cards. Which is really, really useful to have Verizon when you're at a HackerCon, because I do this show about hacking. So there's no way I would use wireless there.
Right.
No way.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
For HackerCons.
Yes.
And
if you're going to a HackerCon, make sure you got Verizon LTE.
That's awesome. Well, so the doom and gloom part of the story, at least until today, was that I had not ordered my LTE iPad until, I don't know, a couple hours after they went live for pre-orders on Apple's site, even though I knew that they weren't going to be available right on the 26th.
Yeah.
When the Wi-Fi onlys were, but because of that, I didn't actually have a shipping date when I tracked my order with Apple. It was just not there.
Did it just say like estimate 3-4 weeks or something like that?
It said mid-November.
Oh, interesting.
And so it was like, okay,
so that could be any time between like November 10th and 20th.
Kind of, yeah. And then it didn't say anything. And then when I would try to access it, it would say, access is really busy right now. Please check later. Oh, no. So it was like, oh man, I mean, am I even going to get this month? You know, because if they're sold out and there's, you know, it's just kind of a mess. Well, turns out that delivery dates are back on. At least they're back on if you look up your own delivery date. In fact, I have looked up my own. I ordered on October 26th, and now Apple says it is available to ship in 5 business days, to be delivered on November 21st.
All right.
Via standard shipping. I will not be in the office. I will be gone for the Thanksgiving weekend.
No!
Curses.
So close.
But it's coming.
Yeah, at least you have a date.
Yes.
So you know when to expect it.
Exactly. So if anyone is in the same boat as me and you haven't checked your tracking order, go ahead and check it again, because you might have a nice date there. Hopefully it's the 21st. Some folks had seen the 23rd, but it sounds like for the most part, if you ordered it fairly soon after they went on sale, you should be expecting it the 21st, which is the day before Thanksgiving. So
things must be going kind of crazy over there for them to not have a date and then put a delivery date on it like that.
I think maybe they were just being conservative, you know, until they were sure.
Hopes up until they're sure.
Yeah, because, you know, everyone gets so crazy around the holidays, that sort of thing.
That's a good point.
There's another article. I love the headline here. The headline is Business Insider. Business Insider tends to write headlines that grab the eye. It says, well, it's becoming clear that Steve Jobs was flat out wrong.
What? About what?
Oh, about everything. No, this is in reference to Steve Jobs famously saying that a 7-inch iPad didn't make sense. A 7-inch tablet.
I remember when he said that way back in the day.
Yeah, and he said it's just
he said they would never make one.
Yeah, we're not going to do that. That's some sort of in-between dead zone for tablets. Just no. What Business Insider is making the point of is, and I understand the point, even though Apple will say it's not a 7-inch iPad, it's a 7.9-inch iPad. It's almost an 8-inch iPad, and that's very different.
Well, if you have to get down to the specs, exactly this amount of inches.
Right.
Come on.
Exactly. So it's. I think a lot of people say, well, hold on now. He wasn't really talking about 7 inches. That's just because that had been thrown out by other companies.
Right.
It was smaller. And it turns out that if you listen to the folks who have had early access to iPad minis, people who now have been able to play around with their Wi-Fi only iPad mini, because many people have had them for almost a week now, people say, I love it. I absolutely love it. It's smaller. The Retina display is annoying to some people, but not to others. And you hear more and more, well, this is sort of my everyday, because it's thinner and lighter and it's more portable and this and that. I am, again, my opinion is not really all the way baked, because I don't have one in front of me, but I have held one. I've been in an Apple store, I've looked at them and everything. But I feel like, you know, I'm still trying to be convinced that this is too big, that my 10-inch iPad is too big and too clunky.
Yeah, I'm still not convinced that this is too big. I have not even tried to hold an iPad mini yet. I haven't even seen one in person. Haven't had the time to go down to the Apple store and check it out. But the only reason I could see myself actually getting the iPad mini is to use it when I'm, you know, sitting down or I'm in bed and I'm holding it above me, because when that thing falls on your face, it kind of hurts.
Yes, that has happened to me when I've nodded off.
Me too.
It's true. It's actually the only time that the iPad feels kind of heavy.
Yeah, same here.
Wow, that was uncomfortable.
My arms are tired. God, this is too heavy.
Well, yeah, so it's sort of like, why are all these people, many of them stronger than me, saying that the iPad is so heavy? And I think part of the reason is I use my smart cover. You've got a pink smart cover as well that you're using. I use my smart cover constantly.
Yeah,
I mean, I even sometimes kind of use it on my lap, or like on my coffee table in front of me when I'm on the couch, or if I'm at the desk. So I'm not really holding it that often. In bed, or if I'm reclining, yes, I would be. But
that's pretty much the only time.
Yeah. So I think maybe there's a difference between people who aren't using smart covers, who think, gosh, you know, my wrists are tired, and then those of us who are, for the most part, propping it up near a viewing area rather than having to hold it.
Generally, I'm using it for work, so it is on a desk. I'm not actually reclining, hanging out at my desk with it in my hands above me, so
yeah,
it doesn't really make a difference to me.
I wonder who all these people are. Not that you have to have a smart cover, and there's obviously other covers and stands that you can use, but you know, when I'm on an airplane,
yeah,
you walk to the back to, you know, to use the bathroom or get a glass of water, and you walk back up, and it's like, there are so many iPads on planes.
That's all you see.
Yeah, and nobody's like, oh, you know, like,
no, they have it sitting on that
the
little panel that comes out.
Exactly.
It's just hanging out there.
Yeah,
they don't hold them.
So I don't know. I think that Steve Jobs probably did at one point say, we're making a 10-inch iPad, so I'm going to tell you that the 7-inch iPad doesn't make sense, or we would have made it. Now they've got a smaller iPad that's competing with the smaller tablets in that space. It's a heating up space. People seem to really like it.
Yeah, that's true.
And now I wonder, in a year, how many folks are going to want the huge, cumbersome, large Retina packed with...
the gigantic iPad.
Packed with a really fast processor iPad.
The iPad XL.
You're right. That's a good one.
When they have the iPad mini. If I went in there as a casual user who didn't need something large like this for work, I would probably choose the iPad mini just because it's smaller, it's more durable, and you can take it with you wherever you go.
Yeah.
It would probably fit in my purse a lot better too. So that would probably work out pretty well.
Yeah, that is something that I struggle with, is fitting this into my purse. It fits.
Yeah.
It fits to the point where no one can see that there's an iPad, and that's what I want the most. That's is just, please don't take my purse.
Please don't steal my
stuff. Life is in it. My baby, my little friend. But yeah, the iPad mini, it's exciting. So hopefully I will have mine, I guess, the Monday after the Thanksgiving weekend. So, and then you can play with it as much as you like, because now you're here all the time.
Yeah, that's true. You got to deal with me every day.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's good. That's good. We need more women.
I agree.
I know, it's like, there's just a bunch of dudes.
Dude.
Yeah. Where's everybody?
We need more ladies.
They've all gone drinking or something. It's like, Sarah and Shannon, they'll be fine.
Why weren't we invited? What the heck?
I don't know.
All right.
There's an interesting article I found that talks about how the iPad mini is sort of a blessing and a curse for doctors. So I never think about this. I have been in a doctor's office, though, and had a doctor say, let me look up something, because sometimes because there are so many drug interactions, and doctors can't possibly always remember all of that stuff off of the top of their head. You want to make sure, you know, if you're taking that, let me just make sure that there's not an interaction.
That makes sense.
And there's these I don't know, I guess in the old school version of it, it's like all these booklets that get reprinted all the time. It's almost like flight maps, right? So doctors are constantly trying to make sure that they're up on the latest drugs and what they do and what might be of concern.
So why would the iPad mini be bad for this?
Well, okay, so here is at least what a report by Manhattan Research concluded. 75% of doctors have purchased an Apple mobile device. The new Apple iPad mini could fit nicely into doctors' pockets. You know, you got the doctors' little jackets, they got the big pockets, but that the space on a 7.9-inch screen could be too small to enter clinical data. So I read that and I was like, but can't you just, you know, pinch and zoom, and then it's not...
That would make sense,
that
right?
small.
Maybe they're making like big pie charts or something?
Well, I think there's probably I think it probably has a lot to do with the kinds of programs that a doctor would be accessing are associated with a certain clinical database or what the hospital's using, and there's probably a little less of, I'm a tech-savvy doctor, and more of, I need to access something or enter data on the go.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, so it was a little bit of like a doctor saying, I'm not sure. A recent poll by medical app developer Hippocrates said 1 in 3 physicians plan to purchase the iPad mini. In addition, 90% of those who were polled responded that the iPad mini's size would be easier to tote around between exam rooms and hospital rounds than the 9.7-inch tablet, of course, the 10-inch tablet that we just have. So it sounds like it depends on who you ask, but that in general, doctors say, well, I want to use one of them. You know, the iPad is perfect for me because I've got this with my, you know, I'm making my rounds, I'm writing down stuff, I've got a variety of programs that I can use to monitor my patients. But for some doctors, the mini's screen isn't big enough.
That's really interesting because, like, this past year, I've seen tons of doctors. I'm good, by the way. I'm good. And I haven't seen any iPads, whether it's iPad mini or a large iPad, in any of their offices. All I've seen are these big, bulky computers at their front desks. So I would love to see that, though, more often in my office visits, because then they could just look up things automatically and it would be so much faster to get in and out.
Well, I think we've all, well, most of us, I've also seen quite a few doctors in my day, and it's you get into the exam room, you know, you talk about whatever you need to talk about, and then the doctor will say, let me check on that. And then they go away and it's like 10 minutes.
It takes them like half an hour and you're just sitting there on your little exam seat and you're like, okay,
what are they doing?
Awkward.
Yeah. And for the most part, it's like they're not taking a break. They're looking up something on whatever computer is in another room.
And it just happens that computer is like 10 years old and it takes forever to search for anything.
They have to find that
I
specific
would love it if they had
book.
iPads.
Well, hopefully we will see more of them, whether they're full-size iPads or iPad minis. I really feel like the iPad mini, hey, maybe it's not right for a doctor. Maybe the data entry is just too cumbersome on the small one. Get the big one. Get the fourth gen. Go Retina. Go nuts. So we got a little bit of an exclusive. This was yesterday. The Verge posted an article that we are finally right around the corner from Microsoft Office coming to iOS.
Really?
So that's Office for iPhones, for iPads, for Androids as well. But this particular story said, The Verge, naming sources that they have, that the iPad and iPhone apps, the iOS apps, are expected as early as next February. Wow. So pretty close, just a couple months away, really. And then the Android app would be coming a little bit later on in May. No word on why they would roll out in that order. But the idea is that, okay, well, I could download Office for iOS on my iPad for free. But then I couldn't actually access anything unless I had a Microsoft account. Well, that's okay. I guess I could probably log in with my Outlook email. Okay, so I could do that. But then I wouldn't actually have anything besides viewing privileges.
You wouldn't be able to edit anything?
Wouldn't be able to edit anything
that's kind of pointless.
unless I also signed up for a Office 365 account.
And that one costs lots of money.
Well, it costs the lowest monthly subscription that I can find, and let's just assume that it would be the same price as if you were accessing them via an iPad, is $4 a month. However, the $4 a month version doesn't say anything about editing documents on the go, which is what Office 365 is good for in a variety of ways outside of an iPad, just being on a remote computer. The $6 a month one does. So if you were to go by the same plans, it's like, okay, well, let me think about this for a second. So you've got Office, you want to access it on your iPad, you download the app, it's free, you can't do anything unless you have a Microsoft account, so let's say you get past that, okay, now you can only view documents, not very helpful. If I want to edit something, now I have to have a potentially $6 reoccurring fee when I can just use something free. For me, it's like, this is starting to sound less attractive. And
all the steps that you have to go through to actually make it work the way you want to on a remote computer, at that point, I'm like, to be honest, I haven't used Microsoft Office in years. I've been using OpenOffice and Google Docs, and that's it. So
is OpenOffice anything that you access on your iPad?
No, it's not. You can only download it online on a PC. So
that's
it's a little drawback.
I feel like there's Google Docs, which I absolutely use on my iPad, but not really to edit.
Me neither.
Because it's cumbersome.
I never want to edit on Google Docs on my iPad because I always feel like I'm going to screw something up.
Well, it's like you're a snail trying to edit a cell. I mean, truly, you click on it, and you go, what happened? And then it kind of, okay, you can edit this, and sometimes
I sit there and I'm like, oh God, did I mess it up?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
We used to on TNT, we all used to complain about this is so bad, and then we just decided abandon ship trying to edit on iOS. It's just a bad idea, and hopefully one day it'll be better. But it's cumbersome, yes, but it's possible. You can edit docs, and it's free. So I guess if Microsoft had some sort of I use spreadsheets all the time. If Microsoft had a way to edit Excel that was snappy, it was easy, it just made sense, maybe it would start seeming more attractive. Probably not for Twit. I still don't think we're going to need to spend $6 a month, but if you already have a 365
then it
subscription,
would be great for you.
That's just a bonus.
I could see like professors and students using this a lot whenever they go to classes and they want to update, you know, reports or what have you. This could be really useful, but for something like what we do, I don't think it would be worth the money.
It seems, yeah, it seems that this is a great, hey, now you can access all of the stuff that you're already accessing on your iPad because you already have the subscription for your small business or, school related or something like that. It doesn't seem that compelling for someone who's like, well, I don't actually use Microsoft Office, so how do I use it via my iPad? Seems a little bit limiting. But we still, I mean, this is somewhat of a rumor at this point. We have been hearing about Microsoft Office on iOS for a long, long time. So in any case, I'd be interested to see what it looks like, how it functions. And, oh, you know what? Before we get to our next, we got a big viewer section. I want to mention, because this is by far the most asked question ever on iPad Today. At least 20 emails a week are this question. And Leo and I, we answer it somewhat frequently, but clearly not enough. People say, what kinds of desks are you using to hold your iPad? Because you look at them on the screen and it's like, ooh, it's so cool. It kind of seems like they're floating.
Yeah,
what are they made of? The company is airdesks.com. When you go to the website, you go, ooh, my goodness, they haven't updated this in a while.
Oh God, it looks like it's from the 90s.
It hurts a little bit. It hurts. There's some.
They even have an animated GIF.
There's some GIF action. There's a lady in bed. But this is exactly what we ordered. This is something when we moved from the Twit cottage to the Twit brick house. Liz Romero said, I think I can find you a really great desk. And
and they have a lot of different ones.
Please do. Yeah, they've got a variety of options and configurations because we didn't really know what we wanted. And she said, no, this is really cool because you can kind of see through them, so you won't be buried behind this desk. So we kind of picked them because we thought that they would be functional and also look pretty cool. And hopefully they do, because a lot of you say, I want the exact same thing. I will mention, because you don't see the details of Air desks up really close, that they get a little, you know...
You can see finger smudges.
You can definitely see finger smudges. You have to keep them clean. We don't really do that well with this. And we have probably moved them around a lot more than the average person would. Yeah. Because we're constantly breaking down this set and people use these in a variety of configurations and then they get thrown over in a closet and that sort of thing. So that said, there's definitely some wear and tear. You know, they're not as tight as they used to be, but we really liked them. They've worked out really well for us. So airdesks.com. That is that.
Nice.
Yeah. Good stuff. How do you like yours? You're only using half of yours.
Yeah, I'm only using half. I'm not using
because you didn't need your laptop.
No, I'm leaving that job for you.
No, appreciate
but I
that.
like it. Yeah,
just like Leo.
I could totally use one of these like at my computer desk to give me some extra room on the side. That'd be really nice.
Yeah, the only thing that would be great is if they could also function as a standing desk. They don't go up too high. Not these ones anyway. But they do have. You know, you can change the levels.
The height of them.
Yeah, between how you want to stack stuff.
And I like how yours, I guess mine does as well. It has the 2 notches at the bottom, so your laptop is stuck there. It's not
so
gonna
this is the notches come towards me, so I have my laptop at a slight angle towards me, but nothing's ever going to slip down.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. So anyway, Air desks, tell a friend. Stop emailing me. No, I'm just kidding. Keep emailing me. It's fine. I'm gonna refer you to. Oh, you should watch episode 123.
There you go.
For the answer to your question.
You know, I get an email every week too from Hack 5, and it's, what is your computer? What laptop are you using? Every single week, it's nonstop. So I should probably put up a Q&A that just says, go here.
Yeah, for frequently asked questions, go to this. Yeah. You know, people often will ask, what kind of computer do you use? Yeah. So I think, I know what they're asking. They're asking what specifically is in my MacBook Air.
Right, what model?
But then I just say an Apple. It's an Apple computer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's like the rudest, most smug answer ever. It's an Apple. I really like it.
Sarah, gosh.
Yeah, I know.
Nice.
What a jerk. What a jerk. Hey, so we have a ton of viewer feedback. Speaking of you guys that we love so much. Just a second, but first we want to thank Lantronix, makers of the XPrint server, for sponsoring this episode of iPad Today. Okay, so here's the issue. I've got an iPad, and I'm at work, and we've got a networked printer. It's way in the back, it's by the kitchen, and I want to print something off of my iPad. You know, maybe it's a document or something I have to sign and fax or what have you. And I can't get them to talk to each other because that's not one of those special printers that's designed to work with an iPad. And it's like, oh, it's the most annoying thing. And, you know, printing issues, if anything's going to make me insane, it's a printing issue. Like, just print. How hard could it be?
Me too.
So this is the key. This is the key to your issues. This is the XPrint server from Lantronix. Comes in this box, and you go, okay, that's kind of cool. What is it? It's actually so much smaller.
It's too small to be a printer.
Yeah, it's very, I mean, if that isn't something that's designed to work with an Apple product, I don't know what is. Here's what happens. You go ahead and hook this up to the printer that you already have, the printer that works just fine, the printer that you don't particularly want to upgrade, just bought a bunch of ink, but you need it to actually work with your iOS devices. That's where XPrint server is your middleman. You plug it into your printer, all of a sudden your iPad sees your printer, and you're good to go.
That is so cool.
Easy as pie. Print directly from the iOS native menu. So that means there's no extra app that you have to download. There's no software to load that's kind of confusing or cumbersome or looks crappy. It supports more than 4,000 brand network printers. I mean, there's a really good chance that of those 4,000, that's the printer that you already have. Automatic discovery and setup of printers. They've actually got, I love this Lantronix ad. It's like this great ad that illustrates exactly what happens in an office when you're trying to like share something funny with people or print out some numbers, and you can't print, and you're trying to figure out what are our solutions? And it's Lantronix. They got the IT guy saying, oh, you dummies. Watch this.
That's awesome.
Yeah, one XPrint server supports multiple printers and pretty much unlimited iOS devices. So there's two editions. We've got the network edition here. It's $149, supports unlimited network printers. If you're in an office and you've got a sort of a complicated setup, don't have to worry about it. There's also a home edition that's $99, supports up to 8 USB and 2 network printers. So it's possible that would be the solution for you. It's really good for a home or an office. Again, you could buy a new printer. You could say, okay, I'm going to redo everything. I'm going to make it hard on myself. You could do that, but you don't have to. I mean, why go hog wild and waste money that you don't actually have to waste when you have a better solution?
I love it. I think I need to get one of those.
It's great.
Yeah.
It really is. And it truly is a problem. I mean, ask anybody with an iPad. Yep. Someone will say, yeah, the printing thing is kind of weird. I like it for so many other things, but the printer I have doesn't work. And, oh, well, I guess you just don't print on an iPad. You need to print things. You just need to print things sometimes. You can also share your USB printers with users all over a network using this as well. So it's great. Here's the offer. Go to xprintserver.com/twit for more information. If you want to know a little bit more about the specs, this is the right thing for me. Just go on over there and to buy. Use the coupon code TWIT, that spells TWIT, to receive free shipping on your order. So if you say, I want one of these, I want the $99 one, I don't want it to be a penny more, they're not going to charge you for shipping if you visit xprintserver.com/twit and at checkout enter that coupon code TWIT. And thanks so much to Lantronix for making a product that we will use and we will love. Okay, Shannon, we got an email from Kevin Berg. He's the founder and head tech at CompuPain. And he has a really good explanation of why people should just calm the heck down when it comes to the iPad Mini Retina display. You've got the two camps,
He's talking right to me.
You've got the Shannon camp who says, it's not Retina.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, how good could it be? And then you've got the other folks who say, why is everyone making such a big deal about the Retina? It's no big deal, it's smaller. And I'm not exactly sure what camp I'm in yet because I need to kind of see them side by side to see if it really bugs me or not.
Okay, so
he says,
what's his
I
thing?
think people are confusing the term Retina with a specific resolution of 2048 by 1536. But it's actually a formula created by Apple to determine pixel density, needing to make pixels indiscernible when a certain device is viewed at a normal viewing distance. That said, if you were to pack 2048 by 1536 display into a regular iPad, that's a major feat, it would be impossible to pack that into the Mini and keep it as thin and light as needed. So you wouldn't have it be as thin and light as you have it now. Had Apple created a Retina display for the Mini, it'd be a completely different resolution of something like 1668 by 1250 if you're kind of just scaling it down. Upscaling iPad 2 graphics and apps, that would look strange, as it would be downscaling the iPad 3 or 4 Retina graphics, meaning developers would have to add another set of graphics for the Mini so the apps look great, and that's more work than anybody wants to do. Many devs just completed adding iPhone 5 support to their apps. That's something that's still rolling out. I mean, not everyone has even finished that yet. So as Kevin says, I think Apple, who needed to release a smaller tablet now because they don't want to get behind, don't want to antagonize the devs any more than they have to. So they released the Mini as a product that wouldn't require them to do anything special. That's my theory anyway. Apple had no real choice but to release the Mini now in a way that would just work.
That's really interesting that he would bring up the actual resolution, the actual pixel amount on the screen, instead of just saying, hey, you know, this one's pretty, this one's not, big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I never
thought of it like that.
I think it's probably something that Apple takes really seriously. Is they have the strength of their developers, right? I mean, that's you could argue that Google Play Store and the Android Marketplace is just as good, if not better, for certain apps, but historically, it's always been, I mean, the App Store's got everything. Everything comes to the App Store first.
Right, yeah.
The developers get money. There's a better rate of return when you make an app for the App Store if you're an iOS developer. And it's really attractive. And Apple doesn't want to create a product that is going to in any way have developers sort of dragging their feet to get up to speed when they also have other 7-inch tablets that they might be developing for.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, when you look at the Android marketplace, you already have so many different smartphones that developers have to make kind of different apps for. They have to customize it for each different mobile platform. While with iPad and iPhone, you only have a couple of different ones you have to develop for, and you're fine.
Exactly.
So it's a lot easier.
Right.
Yeah.
And with an iPad Mini, it's just, you don't have to do anything. It just works.
Yeah, that's
everything
awesome.
you can run on an iPad, you can run on an iPad Mini, and it's just going to look a little bit smaller.
Whether it's Retina or not,
exactly,
it still works.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, so that's a very good point. Thanks for making us remember that the devs are the ones who are working so hard to bring us Angry Birds and stuff like that. That was a really cool tip. So thank you for that. Got another email from Alex. This is a follow-up to last week. We had gotten a. It was a video question from a guy who said, you know, if I was to lose my iPad, what would be sort of the perfect situation so that somebody who if I really lost it, and it wasn't stolen, if somebody who found it was like, I really need to get it back to this person, you know, do I put something on the lock screen? Should there be sort of like a 1-800 number to call Apple to get hooked up with the person who it belongs to? What's the deal? And Leo and I kind of came up with some of our ideas. And Alex says, last week you were talking about how it would be good that a person who lost an iPhone or iPad could call you somehow from the lock screen. That feature is already in iCloud and iOS 6, though. And he quotes Apple saying, iOS 6 and iCloud offer Lost Mode, making it even easier to find and protect a missing iOS device.
Really?
With Lost Mode, you can immediately lock your device and send it a message with the contact number. Then whoever finds it can call you from the lock screen without accessing the rest of the information on your device. And yeah, it's you know, I feel kind of silly that I didn't bring that up last week because it's been a long time since I lost one. Thank goodness.
I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah.
I'll have to go back on their website and actually check it out some more.
Now, this works really well. We're looking at a dialog box for an iPhone where somebody, if the person had found the iPhone in a bush somewhere, like, who does this belong going to. They could just call the person and say, I've got it, and figure out a way to meet up.
Right.
But you can't really do that with an iPad because there's no phone capabilities. So
yeah.
you could at least display a message, call me, you know, at whatever phone you have, type of a thing. So that is a very good built-in.
Yeah, that's good to know.
Yeah, and I guess you would need an iCloud account, but I mean, this is not going to be taking up a lot of data, so this is definitely a very, very good app to be running on any device, any iOS device. Definitely run Find My iPhone. I think it's called Find My iPhone even on your iPad.
I think so too.
Let's look. I just want to make sure. Find iPhone. Yeah, that's weird. I don't know why.
It is called Find My iPhone?
Yeah, it's called Find My iPhone, although it's a legitimate iPad app. I just go ahead and, you know, enter my Apple ID password and sign in.
So it is.
Yeah.
Yep, Find
so
My iPhone.
if you're curious if this is something that the iPad could take advantage of, it can. And yes, that's a really great dialog box. Thank you, Alex, for helping us remember something that's extremely obvious that Apple wants us to use. Okay, we got a duh tip, Shannon, from Barry.
I love the duh tips.
Do you?
Yes.
These are. I'm glad you do. I'm glad you do. Sometimes the tips seem so obvious. They're the kind of tips you go, well, everyone knows that, but not everybody does, for sure. Barry said, the only time I wish I had 3G on my iPad, or LTE or whatever, he has a Wi-Fi on the iPad, is when I need access to maps directions when I'm in my car. However, I found a way around printing them out. I pull up the map with the directions displayed, and then I take a screenshot by holding down the sleep wake button and the home button. Then when I'm on the road, my wife can just look at the screenshot in my camera roll and let me know where and when to turn. So
nice.
I'm thinking, okay, but you could have looked up the address before you got on the road,
and then be able to open Safari, and it would still be cached.
Yeah, but I guess this could be like, I don't know, what if you end up closing the tab, or you click out of an app, or you end up screwing it up somehow. This would be for anybody who's like, what are we talking about here?
That would be really useful. So you basically just go into your maps, and then you have some place that you want to go to, and you take a picture.
Exactly.
And you can pull it up in your camera.
Exactly.
Camera reel.
So if I'm looking at my route overview here, and I want to look at the list view, so here's my list, right?
I guess you could do the same thing for directions too, huh?
Yeah.
You could just take pictures of each of the turns.
Exactly.
And then flip through your camera.
Yeah. I mean, this is loading stupid because our network is crazy again. But if I've got a group of directions here, and it's telling me step by step where I need to go, because I know that there's going to be a passenger, and maybe the passenger's like, can't you print it out? And it's like, no, don't do that. So yeah, okay, so here we go. I'm apparently at Naked Skin Car and Waxing. That's not where I am. Okay, well, whatever. If I'm going to point A to point B, this is a very bad example because, of course, that's not very far. But let's say I had a complicated thing of directions, and everyone knows this is another duh tip. If you tap the sleep and the home button, you take a picture. Then when I go back into my camera roll, which is in my photography folder. So there's the picture. I mean, it looks the same. The directions aren't going to change if you like the list thing. And I guess if you have a long enough list of directions, you scroll and then take another picture.
Right, yeah.
It's kind of good for, maybe you're traveling with a Luddite or something who's just like, I don't know. Or maybe you know that the app could change on you or
this
something.
Would be great when you're traveling with somebody who has never even used an iOS device.
Right.
A lot of people in my family haven't. So I could definitely give them this and just say, click on the little camera and flip through the pictures and tell me when to turn.
Exactly.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Are we at the end? Okay, swipe left.
Yes.
And then start reading from there.
Go like this.
Go like this. So that's a good tip, Barry. It was dictated from Barry's iPad. That's his little signature. So it was dictated very well, Barry. You must have a lovely speaking voice. We got a viewer pick from Mark Parrish. He says, was a big fan, now a smaller fan, and I hope that that's not because he likes us less, and it's because he has an iPad mini. I think that's what you're referring to. If so, kudos. It's very clever. Mark says, recently my doctor called and asked me to come in. He said I have diabetes 2. After giving me the the do's and don'ts. He said, go out and buy a glucose tester, test your blood once a day and at various times, and return in 3 months with the results. Mark says, I found an app called Glucose Recorder that allows me to record the daily results and print out a list or graph. So I look forward to my next visit because I can prove to him that as a result of diet, I'm in the normal range. It's a great app. Now, of course, we try to shy away from recommending anything that's about a medical condition that, we don't know about, and everybody's different. But this is great because, as Mark is saying, this is actually just recording something that he was doing on his own.
Right.
This is not actually an app that's supposed to help you. It's not actually hooked up to your body in any way, and it's not going to make you sick or well or anything.
It's just organizing the data that he's inputting.
Exactly. He's got to write this stuff down. His doctor wants him to come back to the doctor's office with a report of what's going on and how he's doing. And he says Glucose Recorder is working for him, which is always a great thing. When you've got to be healthy, and you do, it's so nice to hear that. It is $1.99. If anybody has another app that is sort of in the same ballpark that either they've used or think is better than Glucose Reader, let us know. iPad Today at twit.tv, because we can always add that to show notes in a little bundle of your options. But I love getting these sorts of recommendations because I am not looking at medical apps, thank goodness. I don't need to, at least at this point in my life. But I know that that's something that people do care about.
Yeah, definitely. This would be something I'd keep in mind later on, once I've grown a little older and I do eat a lot of sugary stuff.
Right, yeah.
So
when the donuts catch up with you, yeah. And then you need a glucose recorder.
The donuts and the chocolate cake, man. Yeah. That'll be important.
So good viewer pick, Mark. Thank you so much, and we will have the link to Glucose Recorder in our show notes as well. And reminder also that we just love hearing from you. We've got a great email inbox where you guys send questions and comments and tips and tips, and the list goes on. We try to get to as many of them as we can in each show. iPad Today at twit.tv is how you email us. You can leave us a voicemail as well, 757-504-IPAD. One thing to note is sometimes you guys will send a voicemail and then you'll tell me how to call you back. And your number will be in the voicemail, and then we can't play it on the show.
Oh.
Because,
it's you don't want a lot of prank calls.
For your privacy. We're not going to out you like that, because then people are going to be crank calling and stuff like that. Yeah. So if you do call, you don't need to send a callback number, because if we answer a question or a comment on the show, you'll just hear it here. So again, that number is 757-504-IPAD. Or you can upload a video somewhere, send us the link, and we will try to play it on a future episode, because those are always the super fun ones, because then we see you. It can be a question or comment or app review or anything like that. Just upload the video and send us that link. So Shannon, I asked you before the show, are you prepared to wear a hat? And you were like, yeah, totally. I'm totally prepared.
I forgot my hat at home.
So you had a special hat.
I was going to bring a special hat. It's a little black cat, and it has little kitty ears.
Oh.
And it has a little crescent moon, because it's from Sailor Moon.
Oh, I love it.
I forgot it at home.
Oh.
I'll bring it next time.
Bring it next time. All right, well, get your app cap ready. I'm going to thank our lovely folks at Slingbox for helping me watch television anywhere I go. You've heard us talk about Slingbox on the show many times before, and that's because it is the best way to pretend like you're in your living room watching your favorite shows, either live or on demand, all the stuff that you saved to your DVR from anywhere. All you need is an internet connection. And the new Slingbox, it's the new Slingbox 500. Look at that thing. That thing is amazing. Looks like a museum. It's beautiful. This is the cool guy. It's very sleek, and it's got new features: built-in Wi-Fi, HDMI connectivity, full HD 1080p output. So you are watching in HD, my friends. Now here's what happens, right? You get a Slingbox, you hook it up to your television, and then you get the Slingbox app. Got an iPad Slingbox app. You can view it from your iPhone, from your computer. Very, very simple. And then anywhere you've got an internet connection, you connect to your home theater. I mean, your home, your cable box, your TV. This is something that, you know, I'm a cord cutter, but I could use something like Boxy TV. I could connect it to Slingbox, so I could watch shows that I'm DVRing that were live over the air, HD signals. I'm about to go to Florida with the boyfriend in-laws for Thanksgiving, and you know, I mean, I'm probably gonna want to just retreat at the end of the night and pretend that I'm home, so I can sit in the guest room with my iPad and watch my stories that I would have done at home on the living. I mean, that is worth its weight in gold, I'll tell you what. We've all been somewhere where it's like, oh, you know, I'm missing something, or, oh, I've got all those episodes of Game of Thrones I really want to watch. That's what Slingbox is great for. I know Leo's always saying, you take it to the ballpark. You know, you watch the instant replays. You could do that too. There are so many different ways that Slingbox ends up being a real lifesaver. You're actually watching your home TV, and you can even use custom remotes too. You know, you can use, if you've got DirecTV, for example, on your screen, you can use a DirecTV remote, so everything about it feels like, hey, this is just my system. I know how this works. I know what buttons to push. That is Slingbox. You can also watch your favorite shows, I don't know, in your backyard or your garage. You think like, you know, I'm in my garage and I'm tinkering around. It would be so nice, but I don't want to run a whole cable in here and it gets so complicated and I don't have an extra TV. Think about it. You can really get creative with the Slingbox because you can truly take it anywhere. No monthly fees, by the way. You don't have to buy any special programming packages. There's no hidden anything. You just watch the shows you want to watch from everywhere in HD. Slingbox 500. You can get your new Slingbox today at Best Buy, at Amazon, at Fry's, and you can check out more at slingbox.com/twit. Definitely check it out because Slingbox it's one of those products that you think, gosh, you know, it's so great that this is something that not only does somebody think up, but it actually works. People use it every day. Love Slingbox. Again, slingbox.com/twit. All right, Shannon, you've got a hat. We decided to wear hats that match us today. You've got a hat that truly matches.
I'm gonna fly away.
It matches you. You're so cute. It's the cutest thing. You know why? It's because your hair and your hat, the flaps.
Oh, it's the same length.
It's all, it looks like it's part of you.
What?
It looks like it's part of you.
Oh, thanks. It totally matches.
Now that hat, you tried it on and you were like, before the show, you said, oh, it's so comfortable. It's so soft. That is a very warm hat. I mean, that is like, you're supposed to be out in the frozen tundra on that thing. I wore it once.
Oh, I want to clip it.
When it was...
I can't find the clip.
There's got to be... Oh, it's, you know what?
Backwards.
Yeah, it's almost like a little seatbelt. That's right. Yeah. There you go. Oh, you're gonna be warm now.
Oh,
it's cold outside, everybody. It's winter out there. Shannon needs to buckle up.
Oh no, it's raining outside.
Yeah, it's raining outside. You need a fur cap.
One
That's
that flies
what you
away.
need. Right. And wings. For anybody who's like, what is happening? Have they really gone insane? No,
yes.
This is the Appy Couple Awards time of the show. Yes, you're right. Insane, yes, but for a good reason. This is the part of the show where it's usually Leo and I, but now Shannon and I take a moment to highlight 2 apps, one for Shannon, one for me, that we love, that are just awesome, that don't have anything to do with anything besides the fact that you might like them too. So, you want me to go first?
Sure.
All right, so my app is called, this is actually an app that we have talked about many moons ago. It is called Appetites, because I have one, and you probably do too. This is one of the many cooking apps that I absolutely love. Appetites is, why are you not loading? Oh, I see. It's just loading.
Oh, it looks like a dinner table.
It's loading very slowly. It is like a dinner table. So I've got, here, I'll even show you. In my iPad, I've got a whole cooking apps section, right? I'm constantly adding and deleting to my cooking apps folder because I love using my iPad for recipes. I try to be creative, you know, I don't want to make the same thing all the time, but I'm not going to buy a bunch of cooking books. I don't have anywhere to put them. Yeah. I don't, you know, I don't want to clip stuff from magazines, and I could use I could look up stuff online, but apps are just the way to go. And Appetites is great because it actually differs from all of my other cooking apps, not just because, oh, the recipes are different, but because of the way that they teach you how to do something. Okay, so for example, I want to make sure my audio is on here. Brown butter pumpkin mac and cheese. Ooh. 'Tis the season for that. I am very interested in that. So
brown butter pumpkin mac and cheese is a decadent
Oh, and they tell you.
They do.
Healthy macaroni and cheese dish, and I'm going to show you how to make it step by step on Appetites.
Sounds good. We hit a snag installing this cooking class. Your iPad may be full. Oh God, is that really my problem? Let's see. So here's what happens is that, okay, so we've got
a video.
Yeah, so you've got a chef that's sort of like, hey, I'm going to walk you through this, right? So here's what it's supposed to look like. And I go, okay, well, all right.
So you need 8 ounces of elbow macaroni, milk, 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, 3/4 of a cup of unsweetened canned pumpkin, 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter, nutmeg, salt, and pepper to taste.
All right, sorry.
Aged white cheddar cheese.
So this is the deal. So
cool.
Here's what's cool is that video rolls through once with audio. So it's like, okay, well, they're just telling me what I need. But the visual aspect of it is that I appreciate that.
Yeah,
because
really
it's kind
nice.
of like, okay, well, this is all stuff. I mean, in the same sort of, I've got this much counter space, like I can do this. Then the video will loop without the audio because you obviously only want to hear the audio once, but it kind of helps you. So we're just looking at ingredients here, but then when you get to the next step, where you're actually having to do something.
375 degrees Fahrenheit.
Then you can actually say like, what did she do again? Let's do that one more time. I just want to make sure I get that right. So then the video will loop. Then you get into the point where you're starting to make
Use
stuff.
a paper towel to lightly butter the pan.
I'm going to turn this down a little bit because you guys don't need to hear the ingredients specifically. But it really helps me.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes because you read an instruction and it's like
I've had that problem.
It seems pretty self-explanatory, but
Yeah.
you're like, am I doing it right?
I had that problem when I don't remember exactly what I was doing, so I'll just make it up. But I was doing like brownies or something, and it said stir the brownie mix. But when in actuality, it meant like you had to fold the brownie mix. But the way that I had read the recipe totally confused the heck out of me. So it ended up totally messing up the entire thing.
Exactly.
This would be really nice in that case because you can see exactly how she's going along the directions.
Exactly.
This is great.
It's step by step. So, and the thing is that it's not a video. I mean, these are self-contained videos, but it's not like, oh, I'm watching a 10-minute video, so I have to keep pausing and going back.
Yeah.
I just do what she does here, and then I go, okay, I'm ready. What's the next step?
Oh, nice.
So we kind of go through it together step by step with little breaks in between, and then I can watch the video as many times as I want to make sure that I know how to pour macaroni into boiling water correctly. But hey, some of this stuff is a little bit more complicated.
That's great.
And so on. So you really get a very good overview of everything you need to do to make pumpkin mac and cheese, which, by the way, sounds like the best thing I've ever heard.
That sounds awesome.
Now the reason
I'm so hungry right now.
I know. I'm sorry. That was just cruel what I've done. The reason that I said that we've talked about appetites in the past, we have included it in a cooking app roundup before, is that there's something new, and this is actually why the appetites keeps telling me, hey, Sarah, you need more space, because if I go back to the top or go back to the front page, now there are HD versions of these recipes.
I see.
For some, for whatever reason, when I was going through these just now, I mean, I'm kind of just trying to get through the recipe, so I don't necessarily need it to be the best resolution possible, but that wasn't available before. Now it is. So if you've got an iPad and you're like, hey man, if I'm going to buy this recipe, I want it to look as good as possible, now you have the option. And some of the recipes don't come standard with the app, but some do.
You have to buy them?
Yeah,
Okay.
you do. But like this was not something that I had.
Well, how much are they? The ones that you have to buy?
It's like $2.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not bad.
So if you think of it as, well, I can get a lot of things for free, and there's certain apps that, there's just the one fee for the app, and then you get a bunch of recipes, that's totally fine.
But it seems like somebody's putting in all the time to make all these separate videos for
Exactly.
you. So I think it's kind of worth the money.
It's like a one-on-one tutorial.
Yeah.
And that's where, some of us need a little bit more hand-holding when it comes to recipes. I won't try a recipe if I'm like, some of this terminology, I'm afraid I'm going to ruin food. I don't want to waste anything, so I'm just going to stick with what I know. Something like this, I'm much more confident that I can tackle that, Thanksgiving dish that people are actually going to like, and it's going to look just like the way that it looks in this app. So that's Appetites. The app is $4.99. You can get it at Appetites app. Well, you can find out more at appetitesapp.com. $5. for a lot of apps. And like you said, Shannon, yeah, it's great because a lot of people put a lot of effort into this. They've teamed up with actual, sort of chef bloggers who know what they're doing and have made a name for themselves. So it's kind of going the extra mile when it comes to cooking for those of us who are interested.
I like it. It's great for the cooks in the house.
It is. That's right. So, you've got... You're going to fly away, but before you do... What is your app cap of the week?
I'm flying away to Japan.
It's very cute.
I love Asian culture. I love everything about it. I love Japan, and I've never been, but anime and manga and the culture and the religions.
You always get you've got the good accent down right, too.
Yatta! The height!
I've noticed that.
O genki desu ka?
See, when you guest on TNT, like every time we have to, it's like maybe a city in Japan, they're making chips or something. It's always like, have Shannon say.
Don't worry, I'll do it. I'll read it for you. No problems.
Yeah.
Well, I found this really cool game called Kumo Lumo, and it's really easy, so I think it would be great for kids. But it's very Japanese oriented, like the faces on the different characters and the way they are drawn. It's just adorable, and it's free, which is great. I love free video games. So when you go into the game, you start out with level 1, and it turns out that you're this cute little cloud named Kumo. Kumo Lumo.
Aww.
And you're basically surrounded by you're surrounding this planet. And during the game, here, I'll click into one for you. So during the game, your whole job is as Kumo the cloud. You have to circle the planet and make sure you grow the trees. And you also have to kill these little aliens that come and try to destroy the trees.
Oh.
How cute is that? And whenever you see one of these scary clouds, you have to run away because it can electrocute you.
Uh-oh.
So I can move them around like this, back and forth, and I can also spin the planet. Oh, he's telling me, what's going on? Why is it burning? So I can spin the planet like this.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
And I have to go around and I have to water the trees. And I have to kill these little bad guys. And I kill them by drowning them, as strange as that is. And during the game, if I see little clouds, I can collect them by going around like this. So let's look for a cloud. Oh, there's one. And you can see the little guys trying to destroy my little trees. So I have to drown the guys and water my plants so that they continue growing. And
this really looks like some little arcade game I would see in Japan.
You're so cute, and I'm obsessed with it. I love it. Now, the fact that it is a very easy game is why I say, it's definitely made for kids. So I would probably say for most people that watch this show, they might not enjoy it as much as I do, but I think it's adorable.
I wouldn't underestimate some of the viewers of iPad today liking childlike apps, but yes, I mean, this is also something that's like, maybe their kids would like it, or, they're looking for, something really easy for a niece or nephew, and they don't even have to pay anything to download it on
there's
iPad.
A couple of extra little things about the game. Up here, you have your little water, and as this gauge goes down, you're running out of water, so your cloud might not be able to complete the level. So you have to make sure that you collect enough other little clouds around the world to gain back up that gauge, that water gauge. And then also, you may have noticed the little planet up in the corner during the game. Now and then you'll find these floating around the planet. When you collect them, you can also gain extra lightning gauges. Later on in the game, you can actually make lightning. You can do extra water, or you can also buy it, of course.
Right, if you don't want to put in the time and effort.
Yeah, and there are so many levels, so I feel like as I go on playing this game for forever, I'm going to be playing this for months, probably. And I hope that it gets a little bit more complicated, because I've just gotten up to the 6th level, and so far it hasn't been that hard.
Yeah.
But I really like it.
I think it's cute. Kumo Lumo.
Kumo Lumo.
And it's free.
Yeah.
You know who it's by? It's Chilingo, and they made the app. What's the app with Om Nom? The little guy that you have to keep feeding?
Oh.
Same company.
Om Nom.
Why can't I think?
Is this the guy that circles around and collects things?
No, he Cut the Rope.
Oh, yeah.
Chilingo makes Cut the Rope.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah. So
they know they've been around.
They know what they're doing. They know how to hook us. Kumo Lumo. You could find more about what Chilingo's doing, this is not something that I've heard of. So this is
so cute.
very, very cute find. on their website.
Yeah, I saw it on the front page of iTunes one day, and I was like, what is this? It looks so cute. And it had some Japanese lettering on it, so I was like,
so you're like,
download.
I'm in.
I'm in. You
are
don't have
all
to go
in.
any farther than that.
I love it. Kumo Lumo, that's Shannon's pick. Very good pick.
Thank you.
The people love
You
the
too.
games. People love the games.
I gotta go get to cooking because I'm hungry.
Yeah, I want to make, pumpkin mac and cheese. Can we just think about that for a second? Why aren't we eating that every day? I mean,
Let's go see if we have the ingredients in the kitchen.
if we have a pumpkin pie, we could probably just work it out somehow.
Sounds good.
All right, Shannon, we've come to the end of our hour and a half or so. I know.
That was fun.
It was fun. Thank you so much for sitting in for Leo. I'm going to ask you again.
Yay.
Because Leo tends to wander off and do his thing, and
that's okay.
And then and now I know that I have another friend who loves.
I'll bring
her
my
iPad
cat
as much
ears
as I
next
do.
time.
Please do. Please bring your cat ears, and definitely watch before you buy. This is Shannon's show now, so
yes,
it's
it is.
better than ever.
I produce it. I'm the boss.
You are. You're the boss lady. You're a very nice boss. Thank goodness.
Yes,
but
I
this
try
is.
to be.
Yeah, that's our show. If you're not familiar, it's where a variety of Twit staff, hosted by Leo, we all try out gadgets.
Yeah,
we're lucky
it's really
enough to
fun.
have a bunch of stuff, and we tell you whether you should try it out or buy it or not buy it if it's terrible. So
the other day I went in my office and there were all these cool gadgets sitting on my desk. It was like Christmas. So I got to send them all back, but it was still like Christmas. It was so cool.
It's like temp Christmas.
Yeah, it's temporary Christmas.
Christmas for a week, a really fun week. But we all know that sometimes it's only a week that you need with a new gadget, and then you're like, I used to love it.
That's true.
I used to love it.
That is why you watch before you buy.
Exactly. All right, that's it for this episode of iPad Today. Remember, you can subscribe at twit.tv/IPT, or that's pretty much where you do it, yeah. And Shannon's going to fly away now. I'm Sarah Lane, and Shannon Morse, thanks again for being here.
Thank you,
Leo
Sarah.
will not be back next week, but you know who will be? Eileen Rivera, the star of All About Android,
she
and
does
I
Android
are
stuff.
going head to head. It's going to be a death match.
Ooh.
Hair pulling and mud. Not true, but I thought I would say that.
About to be a girl fight.
Make sure that you were listening. All right, everybody. See you next week. Ow!